Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video where I'm talking to you about survivor bias. Why do I want to talk about this? Because this is the heart of why we have academies using algorithms to try and work out how tall players are going to be. This is why we're overlooking players who are small at a younger age. And this is why we are missing out on a fair number of players. Interested to hear your views on it in the comments below this video. But let me just talk you through how this plays out and what survivor bias is. Survivor bias is a term that's sort of developed from research where when we look at the end picture, we work backwards and we make assumptions, we make conclusions based on an end picture, but we do it wrongly because along the way we've discounted groups of people or things which have given us a picture at the end which actually turns out to be false. So let me give you a scenario from football. All the players who were in the England squad started playing in academy football at the age of 5. Because they did that, we then think, okay, so I must get a kid into the academy at the age of 5. The problem with that is the reason this has occurred could be from survivor bias. So the kid starts playing in academy at 5, other kids join at 7, 8, not quite as developed at that point because they've not been playing as long, therefore they're not as good, so they get released. So the kid who started at 5 carries on going and gets to the England squad, but there's no way of knowing whether those who started at 7 or 8, if they'd have carried on, could be late developers over the course of the still 10 years left there, they could have developed and been better than the players who ended up in the England squad. Another way of looking at survivor bias is 80% of players in the Premier League are over 6 foot, it's probably even higher than that. Therefore, we want to be picking players who are going to be 6 foot. But because at this end of the spectrum, when the kids are younger, the ones who are better, are bigger, faster, stronger, they keep getting picked, they keep getting through the system. So of course those who get to the end are then bigger players. But that doesn't mean that those players who were smaller at this age wouldn't have gone on to be better players. Paul Scholes, Diego Maradona, David Silva, the list goes on and on and on of smaller players, very good technically, who've gone on to be professionals. But they don't get the chance. The same could be occurred to Q1 versus Q4 babies in terms of where they're born in the year. That thing occurs as well. We set up a scouting system, an academy system, that has inbuilt, it's baked in, it has this survivor bias, and I've seen it time and time again where we're not picking players if they're not going to be 6 foot because that's who's in our first team, but you could be discounting so many gems at a younger age because that's the way you're going. If you're a parent and you're watching this and you've been on the end of this, I'd love to hear your views about what's going on and how this plays out in clubs. It's a little bit of an introduction to survivor bias and how it impacts the academy system. See you next week for the next video.